What's up? What's up? All right. What's going on, guys? My name is Martin, and I don't know what I'm doing. Honestly, I don't know what I'm doing. I have had this thing inside where I've been wanting to put my story out there, put the story out there as to what we're doing, because I feel like I've been awakened. I've been, that scene from The Matrix where Neo finds out that he's not really like Israel, whatever. Like, that's how it feels when it comes to knowing where we're going. Like, the number one thing that I wanted to focus on is my finances. Our story with regards to our finances. Now, I know they say that never talk about your money and never like that. So I'm not necessarily here trying to talk about my money. I'm just trying to talk to you guys about what I did to try to start changing our life. And when I say our life, I'm talking about me, my wife. So again, my name is Martin. I'm married. I have 2 kids, and there's another one on the way, but we haven't made an Instagram or anything announcement like that. But friends and family already know. So that to me was really family, kids was really my motivation to where all this started. So right now, as of today, we are in April 25th, 2021. But this story, my story, it started back in 2015. Everything where I'm going to talk about started in 2015. When I was, damn, I didn't do the math when I was 2015. Okay, so 6 years. 33 right now. I'm 32 right now. I'm gonna be 33. So take away 6 years. 27, 26, right around the time my first kid was born. So taking us back all the way back to 2015. 2015 in October, I quit my job. I quit my first full-time job because I wanted to go make money. Now, keep in mind, I was not happy at my job. I was a Wells Fargo banker. And as a Wells Fargo banker, you guys know the story, right? The things that you kind of had to do. There was a lot of sell pressure, and I hated that. I wanted out of that, not for me. And I had a friend that was working at this new job, and he was making money. He said, hey, you close these deals. If you're good at selling, you close these deals. You'll make $100 per deal. It was student loan forgiveness. Now, I know what you guys are thinking. I can feel, no one's here right now, but I can feel all the glares. So look, ultimately, so I quit my job going to do that without really knowing what that was. So I was taking a big leap. We had just gotten married 2014. So this is 2015 in October. My wife was 4 months pregnant at the time. And so I go interview, I get the job, I start doing it. And at first, I really didn't know what I was doing, so I was just following along what we had to do. Ultimately, it was not for me. It was back to selling again. Having to sell, especially a product that you don't think is right. It just didn't work. So I think. So here's one thing I think I should share about myself that maybe you guys should know. I'm what you might be able to call the preacher's kid. My mom and dad are very religious, and I was raised religious. I do still believe. I don't go to church as much as one should, right? But I do believe. And now I think that plays a lot into what's going on. And honestly, Tony Robbins, I read this book, Money, Master the Game. And I'm going to tell you guys, I've been reading a few books lately, and that's kind of where we're all leading up to. But before to know kind of how we got here, I feel like you got to know where it all started. And so again, quit the job. And I think, again, back to the religion thing. So my brother actually started working at the place as well. And one day he said, you know what, man, this isn't for me. I got something else lined up. I'm going to quit. And I don't know what it was, but I was like, you know what? We were already 6 months in there. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to quit too. I'm going to quit with you. And I called Marcella, my wife, and I told her, you know what? we're gonna quit on lunch during lunch. You okay with that? Obviously, she's like, really? Are you serious? Like, how are we gonna? We got the kid on the way. How are we gonna pay rent? Because at the time, guys, we were living paycheck to paycheck. I was one of those where we hadn't changed since. Whatever we had, we spent for sure, 100% plus credit cards. But I told her, you know what? It's fine. I have my 401. I have my 401k from working. It had about $14,000 at the time. I was like, we can cash that out, and we'll use, like, yes, I know about tax penalties, but we'll use that to handle, to take care of us just in case. Luckily though, here's the crazy part where it's completely just random. That same day I quit, I actually got hired at my wife's job. So she went to her boss, which is now my boss, and she told him, hey, my husband just quit his job. Like, are we hiring? They've told me this story, and I know because they've told me repeatedly, where it's like, for us, he's like, we were like, why are we gonna hire this guy that just quit his job? Like, that's not something you tell to your boss, right? Or to the person that's gonna potentially hire you. But because my wife Marcella had such a good track record as far as performance, they were like, you know what, sure, bring him in, we'll interview him. And that was same day as I quit. Me and my brother were having lunch at Dave & Buster's, and I get the call. I was like, hey, she's like, so I was like, hey, I still have to go home, shower, and she's like, he said, just come in anytime. So I go in, interview, I get the job. I start a week later. So there you go. Quit the job, not happy, went to work with the wife's job. That was 2016. We liquidated the 401k, and we also financed our first car for the kid and stuff like that. So go now to 2017. 2017, because we've had, so one thing also you got to know about me is that I have always had bad credit. Not always, right? When you're 18, from 18 to 21, I had good credit. At 21, to essentially to where this leads up to, I had bad credit. I would say I had credit under 600, or a little over 600, like 620, something like that. But it was bad. It was bad credit. And it all happened because of past due credit cards. I didn't know. Don't even get me started. Best Buy. I had a Best Buy card that I had gotten when I was 18. And it was one of those introductory percentage credit cards. And I didn't, I didn't know that if you don't pay off the full balance within that introductory time, that it's gonna add on the remaining amount. So I had been paying off the card, and about the month before, there was like $300 left, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna just have to do one more last payment on the last month, and we'll be good. But that's not how it works. They actually charge you the full interest before the last month. So you gotta to catch those, you gotta pay it off like possibly 2 months to be, pretty sure, but 3 months to be for sure. But they charge you that last amount on the last month. So my credit card went from $300 to like $1,200, or $1,100. I'm maybe exaggerating, but it was a lot. And I was like, well, I'm not gonna pay this. And of course, I didn't call, I didn't do anything. I left it. And so then credit ruined. But 2017, so when we liquidated the 401k money, we used that to pay off our credit cards. I paid off some past due things. So in 2017, my credit was improving. We had credit limits increased. We did not save. So in 2017, we actually took on a renter we had a 2-bedroom apartment, and we took on a renter, a friend of ours, and they were paying us $600 a month. We told ourselves, okay, we're going to take this money and we're going to save it. We're going to save it. All in all, we didn't save it. We didn't have anything left of it. Not only did we not save it, but we both had a $6,000 credit card that we both maxed out. And luckily though, and also not only that, 2017 still, we financed our second car. So she had her car, I had my car. I don't know where we got all this money, honestly, but now even saying it out loud is like, gosh, like I've been reading these books about financing, and that's where ultimately, that's how I am here right now, because I feel like I've been awakened, like I said, and I have to share this. I have to share this to everybody, because honestly, if I knew this all these years ago, oh, I wish I knew it. And that's what they say, but I feel like I'm still young. I'm still gonna be able to, I caught it early enough, but I'm now seeing a lot of my friends now, when they have these conversations, I'm like, dang, well, how do I wake them up? How do I tell them? And honestly, I don't want to impose this on anybody, but I was like, look, let me just show you what you can do, what happens when you actually take charge. But again, so far, I haven't given you any examples of me doing any of that. I'm showing you how I messed up. And now, so 2018, pretty much February, we decided to take control of our financial life, and we borrowed $15,000 from my father-in-law. Now, this one was not an easy decision, obviously, right? You don't want to be going to your father-in-law and saying, hey, we need help, can I borrow some money? But when you have that much debt, and when I did the calculations out of the credit cards, what the monthly payment was, what the interest was every single month, how much of it we were paying, because again, there's $6,000 on each of them. We were, out of our $500 monthly payment, about 150 of it was actually going to the principal, and it was bad, right? So we decided, you know what? Can I borrow the money? I had done the math. I had just gotten a raise at work. And I set us an aggressive payment plan. I told the father-in-law that I was like, you know what? If you let us borrow this money, I will pay it back in 1 year. In 1 year, that's $1,300 a month. So we did it. So took that, paid off the credit cards. Credit cards to this day, I will tell you, are paid off. We're good. We've been good. But that's how it started. And this really was where I sat down, I ran the calculations, I did the numbers, and I asked for help. That's number one thing, guys. I think there's really a lot of help out there if you are willing to accept it. Right now, I am in those phases where I want to help as many people as I can. But in order for me to help people, you gotta want to be helped, right? But I'm telling you my story so you not only can learn from it, but you can see that no matter what you do, you can always start. Start today, start tomorrow. There's people that didn't even wake up today. The one thing that you have, the people that my age think that we have is time. And time, I'm sorry, but we're running out of time in a blink of an eye. My kids, my oldest is 5 years old now. Like when I started this, I feel like this was just yesterday, but it's after a while, right? That's where the power of compound interest. I see you, Tony Robbins, Money Master the Game. Dude, you got to read that book, but that's a different book. But back to this. So not only did we decide with that aggressive monthly payment plan, but after our lease was up in 2018, we actually decided to go move in with my parents. The goal was to buy a house. Our goal was to buy a house in 2018. I'm sorry, to buy a house. And so by moving with my parents, we saved for 1 year. We'll be able to save up for that down payment. Well, as you can see, it only lasted 6 months because at that time, now we were pregnant with our second kid, which is our daughter. And in 28, we were renting not even renting, but we were living with my mom and dad in one room. There was now 4 of us. We had a crib, bassinet, and then our king bed. But 6 months is what we lasted. After that, we kind of both agreed, like, you know what, we can still do this whole saving thing. It might take us a little longer to buy the house, but let's go ahead and go get our own apartment. And so then in the summer of 2018, we moved out of my parents' my old room essentially, and we moved into our 2-bedroom apartment that we are still in now in 2021. Rent's good, honestly, and it's a good location. We're still saving for that house, but more on that. So 2019, so you fast forward a year later, we paid off the entire debt by February, and we continued our aggressive savings plan. So in 2019, paid everything on. That was like in February again, and we ended up by the end of 2018. By the middle of February 2019, we were already good, but we kept investing that money. That's the wrong word. We did not invest, and that is one of the things that I do want to, that's when I catch it on. But we started saving though. We started saving. I didn't do any breakdowns of nothing. We just we were pretending we were still paying back her debt. So we had $1,300. We're putting that into the savings. In 2020, right? And this is kind of now starting to feel like our backyard. So in 2020, everything closed down. So it really made savings a lot easier. And stimulus checks, I still have it. We still have it. We haven't spent it. We've been lucky enough to work in an industry that it wasn't affected by, so me and Marcella, my wife, we both work in real estate. We work with appraisals, and that is what we do on a daily basis. So if you guys know, the real estate market is crazy. This year, in 2021, for the last 3 months, we were looking to buy homes, but because interest rates and everything were down. But honestly, I think we waited too long. And working in real estate and knowing home values, kind of how that works, we decided to actually step out of buying a house right now, because I'm not willing to overpay for something that, say that we're in a bubble or whatever, right? I'm not trying to be preparing, but yes, interest rates are low, but the prices of these homes are extremely high. And quite honestly, if we did do that, we were going to have to borrow money to still be able to aggressively buy it. And essentially, I think we would be putting ourselves in the same situation. So this year, when we found out that we were having another bundle of joy, we decided that, and just back to 2020. So during that time when we were saving, I actually started learning about investing. I started learning about technical analysis. and this is all self-taught. Everything YouTube, didn't go to school for none of this. Everything I learned was just from reading articles, reading books, and just everything on YouTube, right? There's a lot of good stuff out there, but you got to really learn how to differentiate the speculative stuff versus the actual teaching stuff. But I started learning, but I wasn't comfortable enough with it to invest our own money, which honestly I now regret it so much, because in hindsight, knowing when the market dipped, even if I didn't know what I was doing and I just put my money in anything, by the time of we were now, I would still have doubled my money essentially. But it is what it is. You're right. You gotta. This is the number one thing that I've been reading in these books is don't give up. Right. You create a budget and you mess up and you don't hit it. Don't give up. Keep going. Next month, try again. And that's those months when we paid off Marcella's debt, when we were paying off the debt, I wasn't able to hit the $1,300 every month. But luckily, I was able to give them a heads up in advance. Say, hey, for this month, is it okay if I only do 1,000? And then the next month, though, when I would be back, I would actually put the money back. So we would give them 16 to try to make up for that additional missing amount. I did have to do that about twice. And I did notice it was around Christmas. Marcella, I told you. But anyways, we still got it done. But 2021, when we decided to not get the house, so two things changed. So what we did is I opened up a Roth IRA. Let me take a step back. I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Rich Dad, Poor Dad, guys, you need to read that book. That is it woke me up. I was, when we decided not to buy the house, I was looking at our money, and I knew, because I know, I knew enough. I don't know that much, but I knew enough about inflation and, your money's not working for you and all that stuff. So I knew that we needed to start doing something. And honestly, guys, I prayed. Again, religious, right? I prayed, and in this, for some reason, I started reading this book, and this book, it opened my eyes. And I'm not necessarily here telling you you gotta do this so you can be rich. I'm not trying to be rich. I am just trying to be good, where I don't have to go to work at a job that, I love my job is good, but there's some days where I don't don't want to work. I don't want to. And right now I have to, right? And so you need to, I want to get to a point. I want to help everyone get to a point where you don't have to trade your time for money. Because right now, anyone that works 9 to 5, that's what we do. We trade our time for money. And think about it. If you lost your job, boom, your income, we're relying on one thing. So that makes me also feel like, damn, right? Like it's a little uneasy. I myself am very, not necessarily entrepreneurial, but I'm trying to figure out how to make money. And the number one thing that I realized that I wasn't doing to help me make money was use my money that we were saving to make more money. So this year, again, we opened up our Roth IRA. We now have that. I maxed it out already just because there were some plays that I wanted to get in. So I maxed it out. And then we paid off our first car. We had additional again. So we weren't buying the house this year. So we're like, you know what? Let's save some more money. Let's pay off a car. So we paid off the car and started investing. I have now a contribution amount that we're going into our investment accounts, but that's where I'm at. That's 2021. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh shit, that's 7 years. That's the last 7 years. Started in 2015 and at the end of 20. So it's 6 years. All right, so 6 years. But guys, you can do it. Like for real, you can do it. And I actually reached out to one of my friends to, I won't say who, but I told him, I'll help you. Let me help you start where I started, right? I don't necessarily know what I mean by that. I don't know if I meant like, hey, let me help you out. Like I'm gonna give you some money, or let me help you out. Like let's review this and let's set up a plan, because that's ultimately what I think most people are missing. They're missing a plan. They just have money come in and out. And that's how I was. Trust me, that's how I'm not here judging. I'm not anything, but I woke up. I did something about it. I didn't want to live like that anymore. And if you don't want to live like that anymore, I'm here to tell you that you don't have to. You don't have to live like that anymore, but it's going to take work. I'm not giving you this overnight plan, and I'm not saying that, you know, my way is the only way. There's a lot of ways that you guys can do it. I had a resource. I had a little bit of help. But again, you guys all have resources too. And for the ones that don't have resources, you don't need resources. You just need to educate. You need to educate yourself. And it's like, for someone who doesn't have a father-in-law that can let them borrow money, how can I then start paying off these debts little by little? Because what I did is I paid it all off, but I had still this huge ass monthly payment that I committed to making, and we had to figure out a plan to do it. And luckily, my wife was on board. I don't see why she wouldn't be, but we were all both on the same page, and that is going to be the number two thing, right? You got to make sure that you and your wife or you and your partner are on the same page as to what your goals are. Because if it's just one, I'm telling you, it can be done with one. I think if I had to start all over, I know where I would start and how to do it. But if it's both of you, that's that much easier. So that, I think that's where we're at right now, guys. I'm gonna end it right there. But what I'm gonna start posting here are pretty much just help ideas, plans on life, on anything. If it gets a little spiritual, I'm sorry. I don't impose nothing. It's just what I believe. If I get a little preachy, stop me. And anyways. But anyway, all right. I still don't know what I'm gonna call this, but this is just episode 1 of many more to come. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed this. If you want to see more, hit that like button. Hit subscribe for. I'm not there yet, guys. I don't know any of that, but I hope this story, hits home with somebody. And just know that there's help out there. Hit me up. I'm down. Laters.